rights. So right now, you're being aggressive, right? So you're violating my Third Amendment right because I'm quartering with an enemy combatant.
It is what it is. We're all sick from disinformation. We all live for twisted sensations. Kids are safe, but too well behaved to feel. Never heal with the fakes. Go make something real. If what you've always believed and was not considered treason, is this what we moving right and usual with no meaning? Take it or leave it, the way you see it is the end result. Angels and demons.
What's going on, guys? Why is this ahead of this? I don't understand. Hold on. There we go. How's it going? Hope everyone's having a great day. What's up, Kat? What's up, Gary? So yeah, I want to start this stream, and I actually had a subject to talk about. Now, have you noticed how whenever auditors, they go out, and all of a sudden they're like, well, I hope they don't call the police because that's going to fail this audit. Why on earth would police involvement cause a failed audit? Isn't the whole point that the police do the right thing and don't try and violate their rights? How is calling the police violating anyone's rights? It's not. If the police did something, then okay, then perhaps you could have an issue. But just the police's mere presence shouldn't constitute a failed audit. Yet, for some reason, whenever someone calls cops, they call them a snowflake. And they say, oh, they failed this audit because the police showed up. Even though the police could be as nice as can be, and yeah, the police were great, but they still failed this audit because they called the cops. Really? Come on now. That's just ridiculous. What do you guys think? What's up, Rocky? What's up, Texas Bartender? I'm going to go ahead and put the link up for anyone who wants to come up and chat about this. Because this is a subject that really, it gets me. Because I don't understand it. And hopefully we can get some people up here who are on the opposite side and can, tell us why it is a failed audit, and we can debate it and find it. And maybe they can change my mind. Maybe they'll change Kat's mind. Maybe they'll change Richard's mind. Maybe they'll change Tim's mind. Tim's easy to change. It's easy to change Tim's mind. So you can probably do that first. Yeah, that's the thing. There are no really set rules for the audits, Rocky. It's whatever they feel. If they felt slighted, it seems that's when there's a fail. Someone could come up and just say, oh, you're a piece of shit. Oh, you failed this audit. Why? Because I'm practicing my free speech? Doesn't make any damn sense to me. Yeah, maybe they might be able to change your mind, Richard. You never know. Well, we'll see if someone comes up and decides to tell us. They feel the location is not educated on the law. Okay, that's fair, but do they expect every single location at every single place they go to be educated on the law? And isn't the point of them going out to educate them? So shouldn't you give them kind of like, okay, this wasn't really a test, so they didn't know about it. We're not going to call it a failure. We're going to come back and see what happens. I mean, not every single citizen knows their rights, because if every single citizen knew their rights, auditors wouldn't exist. Because they would have no reason to, because no one's rights will be violated because everyone would know their rights. What's up, Mr. J? What do you think?
They don't even know their rights. I mean, they pretend, but I don't know. I'm getting fed up of them saying, "Oh, I know I know the law. You don't know it," to a cop. I mean, really?
Well, no, but more to the, yeah. Whenever a cop shows up, I mean, I was just watching an audit where it was like, well, I hope they don't call the cops. I really want this to be a pass. I was like, well, wait a minute. First of all, you're at the CDC, and it's during a pandemic. I mean, if the cops come and try and push you around, okay, fine, then yes, agreed, that's a fail. If people come out and tell you can't record here, yes, again, that's a fail. But if they don't make contact with you and all of a sudden the police show up, first of all, you don't know if it was someone from the agency that called, or you don't know if it was someone that just saw you passing along the street, right? How can you tell? So why would you fail them because maybe someone from the street called the cops? They don't know. That's the thing. So why is it an automatic failure? Are you there, Mrs. J?
No, thank you.
Yeah, we're ordering lunch, dinner, whatever.
No,
Well, what do you
Um,
think? That's the subject here for today. We're not
Thank
doing
you.
open today. We have a structured show. I'm sorry, it's a structured show today.
that's okay. Well, like I said, they walk up and start spewing. Oh, my favorite things are walk of shame and you know, oh, you failed because you didn't, respect my rights. And did you just do the one where the guy goes to the post office in Ohio?
I don't know. The last video I did was one I posted with Mr. J, and the one before that was a food bank.
Okay. Oh, it was DGen last night.
Okay.
He posted somebody else had posted it.
No, thank you.
Some guy in Ohio went to an Ohio post office, walks in, points to poster 7, of course, cherry picks, what pertains to, being able to film, for advertising, right, whatever, blah, 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 but doesn't finish reading where you need permission to do it.
No,
Goes
they
in.
never read that.
Yeah, I know. Goes in, picks a fight, then they tell him to leave. He finally leaves. They call the cops. The cops tell him, you're trespassing. Oh, you just failed. You're not protecting my rights. I have a right to do that. I do this all over the country. I don't even know who the idiot is.
The tyrants.
Yeah, called them tyrants. Just insanity. It's insanity.
I agree, but yeah, but I mean, okay, at that point, with that instance, yeah, they don't read the thing. Yeah, obviously wasn't a fail because they actually recently saw an audit where actually the post office and the police actually did know more about the law than the freaking auditor, and they sent it back, and it was actually quite entertaining. I'm going to post that probably tomorrow. But yeah, see, Richard says at the end of the day, it's not about rights; it's about the monetization. For a lot of them, yes, I wouldn't say it's like that for every single one of them, but a lot of them, that's the way it is. Peanut says a lot of them are tyrants. This is true. What's up, Gary? What do you think? What's with the why is it when the police show up to a place where they were called to, that all of a sudden the place fails, even though they don't know who called the police, or you don't even, it's not even a factor into how the police react? Why is that?
Well, first of all, Mrs. J, I want to assure you that I've put an order in for 2 penguins, and they will be shipped to you presently.
Gee, thanks, Gary.
Okay. Ask me that again, Kenny. I was kind of
Just
dozing
the
off
whole
there.
theme of the show, like why all of a sudden when the police show up, it's an automatic fail.
Well, actually, I think it's a success on the side of the police myself, because otherwise, if they didn't show up, then it would be a failure on the police department's fault.
Well, agreed. If someone didn't show up, then if the police were called and they didn't show up, people would be pissed off at the police. So the police, it don't seem, can win in any situation like this. Like if they show up, they're nice, just because. Well, and then their big thing was, well, why didn't the dispatcher just say, well, it's a constitutionally protected activity? Because you don't always get all the facts when you get a call to the police. They get what they need, and then they go and they investigate, and then they figure it out from there. And a lot of times they find out, okay, this dude's just recording. Okay, you're good. Just don't do this, don't do that. And then they take offense to that. They take offense to everything. They take offense to the mere presence of the police. Anything they have to say. They can say, how was your day? Oh, I don't know. What you're asking me how my day was? That's kind of a fucked up question. Really? I just want to know how you're doing. I mean, go on.
Okay, I've seen the video that she's talking about, and North Toledo or East Toledo, Ohio, whichever one it was. The cops, I'm sure that they had a trespass uh, violation at the post office. That's all they knew when they walked in. Probably went in, talked to the postmaster. Postmaster told him, I trespassed this guy and he's outside right now. And that's all that's the only thing the cops know. So then they get out there and, they talk to this frauditor, which he is, because he, like Mrs. J said, he cherry picks the poster 7.
Mhm.
And they tell him, that if you go back in there, you're going to be arrested. Which they had to explain that part to him about 5 times.
Mhm.
What happens if I go back in? You'll be arrested. What if I go back in again? You'll be arrested.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
as far as frauditors will always claim victory. They will always, no matter which way it goes, whether it's a total failure on their part, or they get thrown in jail, or the people around them just throw their hands up. No matter what it ends, they will always say that the people that they filmed are a big fail, or the police failed, because the frauditors, in their minds, always win.
Mhm. Chief, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah. So, what do you think about all this?
I kind of came in a few minutes ago. What was the original question?
We're just getting into people who come in. It's just a thing of the show. Auditors that whenever the police show up to an audit, all of a sudden the place fails that audit because the police show up.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the tactics that the auditors use is that baiting maneuver. They're trying to get a rise or a really serious reaction to get their clicks and views. But, this is nothing new. Law enforcement is a thankless job. Don't get into it if you want to be thanked for anything, because you're not going to get it. And that's nothing new. It's always been that way. There was an old saying when I went through the police academy, everybody loves a fireman, everybody hates a cop. And that's kind of rings true even today.
Hey, police de-escalation task force. Why don't you come on up? Maybe you can shine some light on the other side of the argument. So I want to get some people up here and actually have a nice debate about this, because right now everyone up here is like totally on the same side, and I want some people who are on the other side. I want a good, healthy debate about this. And but let's again, everyone, let's try and stick to the subject here. Yeah, police is a thankless job, but we're more talking about the aspect of the audit and how when the police show up, it is a failure, and just all the different ways you could fail an audit. So right now, here we go. Paul has said something interesting. To be able to classify pass fail, there has to be education. Not everyone is educated, because in the real world, normal people don't run around jamming camera in the faces of people. This is true. The whole point of an audit is to educate somebody. Now, if they don't, if the police show up and the police know what you're doing and they know they're educated already, you didn't tell them anything they didn't know. They didn't try and jam you up. They didn't try and do anything. So why is the place having failure just because it could have been somebody in the building, or it could have been someone walking down the street or driving down the street or sitting in a McDonald's having a Big Mac and saying, hey, that's really odd. There's someone over there that's filming. You know what? That looks stupid. I'm going to go ahead and call the police. They don't know who called. So why all of a sudden does a place get a fail? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Why should there have to be a pass or a fail?
Because that's the whole point of what they're doing.
Why?
Because they're educated.
It's not education has. I want to say education has nothing to do with passing or failing.
No, it does.
Yeah, I understand your traditional education does, but I don't know. I just don't see the passing and the failing point. Maybe someone can explain that to me.
Well, the passing and failing part is easy. It's just like, it's essentially a test. They're testing the public, testing the police on how they react when someone goes out and films the public, because it's not a normal thing people do, which is why you get the reactions you get, and therefore it's a test. So in every test, you pass or you fail that test. It's pretty much.
Well, in that case, the auditor is automatically failed because all he does is cherry pick what he wants to try to show people. Poster 7.
Well, they don't understand. They cherry pick poster 7, stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, I think that the auditors definitely should be more educated themselves before they try and go out and educate anyone else, especially when it comes to poster 7 and things like that. Now, when they're going out to a different place, let's leave the post office out of this. Let's say they go to shit. Let me give an example of a place. They go to a department of, not DMV, but just like a department of transportation. They're out there, they're filming, and they're on the street. They're not on their property. They're not doing anything wrong. The cops are called. The cops show up. They automatically call it a failure, right? Now, yeah, the auditor themselves are not doing anything wrong. They're not uneducated in what's going on here. They're simply right. They're not doing anything wrong, so we can't really say. That's why I want to take out post office, because poster 7, they're doing something wrong. We can go all day on that. I want to just get to the root of the problem here with a pass or fail. And the cops show up. It's an automatic fail, even though the cop's super nice to them. That's what I'm getting at here. I want to leave poster 7 out of it because that's something we can go off on. And yeah, they're wrong. We're talking about an instance where the auditors are not in the wrong. They're not doing anything wrong. We just don't like it, and of course we don't like it. And that's fair. That's fine. But should the place be? Should they fail? It's about a perceived failure because the cops come and do their job.
So you want to know if they automatically fail because the cops show up?
That's the name of the show.
Well, that's just stupid. What are they?
You hear it all
What
the
are
time,
they
though.
basing? What are they? They're basing the failure on the fact that the cops show up, which is something that they wanted to happen.
You hear it all the time. You hear it all the time.
Well, I usually
audits.
hear the failures after they've had some sort of encounter
with the police, yeah. But before they, but if you, some of them will say, "Well, I hope nobody calls the police because that will be a failure." As soon as to some auditors, whenever the police show up, it is an automatic failure.
Well, in the eyes of the frauditors, in the eyes of the frauditors, it is.
Yeah.
But who are they? They ain't nobody.
Yeah, and there are auditors who are okay when the cops get called. They're more worried about what the cops do, how the cops react, which I think should be the basis of a pass or fail on an audit, not just that the police were called or the police show up. And then when the police are there, they can say, "Well, hey, look, you see, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just out here," and they'll go let them know they're not doing anything wrong, and it's all taken care of, and they're good, and you have a decent reaction. It'll probably be boring, and no one will watch it. But at the same time, that would be a decent audit.
Can I interject here?
Sure, go for it.
The thing is, okay, police officers do not have the control of where they are sent. The dispatcher has that control. By the time the cops show up, they have no idea what's going on other than what the dispatcher tells them. And you mentioned that auditors are out there to educate. I don't see any education going on out there. All I see is harassment. And if the cops do show up, it's an automatic fail. Then they're always going to say that anyway, because the cops have no idea what's going on until they actually get there.
For the most part, I would agree with you, but there are some occasions where they do educate people. I've seen audits where people say, you can't film here. This is it's against the law. No, that's not true. When they tell somebody that, come on, we have to admit that's educating someone, right? If someone tells them something wrong and something's against the law, that's not, and they say, no, it's not against the law, they're educating that person. We might not like it. We might not like the way it happens, but we can't change the fact that they are educating people. When people don't know their rights and saying, you don't have to talk to the police. You don't have to incriminate yourself. When people don't know this and they tell these people that, they are educating people. We might not like what they do on a daily basis, but on occasion, not all the time, but on occasion, they do educate.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing on the other side of the coin. When the police officer arrests an auditor, they've committed some kind of violation. It has nothing to do with education. You can say, okay, the auditor's trying to do this, they're trying to do that, but you can say the officers are trying to do this, they're trying to do that in the same instance. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, you and no, right. When the police arrest someone, well, look, the whole point of the justice system and the penal system is to educate, and it's preventive and educative. Like, hey, look, maybe you shouldn't do this. This will happen to you. That person gets educated in a simpler sense of how things go. Yeah, my point in all that is, yes, we don't like what auditors do. I don't like what auditors do either. But there are occasions where they do ring truth. I mean, we can't say no. There are instances. I mean, if you're really honest with yourself and take an honest look at the situation, there are times. There are times where auditors have, like let's say Patrick, for instance. We all don't like what Patrick does. We all don't like some of his tactics. But I mean, there are occasions where he's this one occasion I saw, there was this cop that was sleeping in his car. He had his lights on, his emergency lights on. He was just passed the fuck out. And Patrick and Earl came up on them, and they tried to get his attention. He didn't, say anything at first. But then they woke him up, and he just kind of like sat there, and he really looked like there was something wrong with him. So they called the cops. The cops showed up. The cops gave him attitude because they caught one of their own doing something wrong. And they asked a very important question. I was like, wow, that's a good question. They asked him, so what happens if I see a cop unresponsive? You guys just want me to walk away and not say anything? They couldn't answer that because they knew they were in the wrong at that point. Does that mean I like Patrick or like what Patrick does? No. But he had a point in that instance. All I'm trying to say is that, they do educate on certain things. We might not like it, but they do it. And that's why people like them, not only for that, but they also like them because of all the bullshit they do as well.
So in passing and failing, are we passing and failing the auditor as well?
Wait, what? I'm sorry?
Okay. I don't know how to say what I'm thinking.
No, say it again. I just didn't hear it.
Is in passing and failing an audit, is the auditor passing and failing as well?
Well, of course
I mean,
not, we
when the
can't.
cop shows up and he immediately says, well, this audit fails. Well, isn't he partly responsible for what goes on in the audit? So, I mean, he's failing himself.
You would think, well, that's what we do. We judge the auditor and we pass or fail the auditor. The auditor don't do that for themselves. They think they're doing absolutely nothing wrong. And most of the time, they're not, unless they're going to like a post office or, they actually go onto a property, or they don't quite understand what they're doing. But for the most part, they're not doing anything wrong, except when they harass people. Then they're doing something wrong. But yeah, well, that's what we do. We judge the auditors what they're doing. No, and that's not necessarily true, Police De-Escalation Task Force. They're not always within their rights. A lot of auditors are not within their rights when they're doing something. Now, there are those instances where that's true, but that doesn't ring true in every situation. And I think me and you, we have seen, definitely on this show when you've been on here, instances where they were not within their rights. So you can't just throw that blanket statement out there. Yeah, exactly. They're not perfect beings. They aren't perfect angels. No, absolutely not. Well, agreed. They're supposed to be, but just like in every aspect of every field you're going to run into, they're supposed to be doing something. That doesn't necessarily mean they're always going to be doing it. All right, so I'm gonna throw the link up here for anyone else that wants to come up. Yeah. So like, what do you guys think? Like, what can we do, or what can do you guys think that maybe there needs to be some sort of um guidelines for auditing?
Oh,
Uh,
some of the channels have attempted to do that before.
well,
What do you
but don't
mean,
you also?
legal ones?
Well, no, just like guidelines that way, because I mean they're passing or failing. So shouldn't there be there should be some sort of guideline to what a pass, what constitutes a pass, what doesn't cause, what
Like
causes
a
a failure.
standardized test.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be, but I can't see
For
these
for
idiots
My,
following it.
as far as the
my
auditors are concerned, every situation that they find themselves in, they're going to come out ahead in one way or another. Either the people who called the police is made to fail, or the police made to fail.
Mm-hmm. Now, also,
They
what about
they
this?
will they will they will throw the slant. They will try to put the light upon themselves that they were doing the right thing, even though what they think they're doing right, they the guys that walk into the not to beat a dead horse or anything, but the guys who walk into a post office and do that, they know what that poster 7 says.
Well,
But the only parts that they'll show, but to claim that they have the right to do what they're doing, is the parts that they want to show. They know
And
what
well,
when
even
they
the thing says all the way through.
not only
and
the
when they
post
finally realize that 99% of government facilities are non-public forums, once this pandemic's done and everything settles out, I got a funny feeling there'll be a lot more arrests.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think so too. Um, so Diver, what do you think? Well, what do you think of these auditors when they just because the police officer shows up, they automatically fail the audit, the one First Amendment test? What do you think about those situations?
Have you ever looked at the posters and whatnot that DHS has put out about photography, public
Yeah,
photography?
yeah,
Yeah, well, then you know why the police get called. See
yeah,
something, say something.
absolutely.
Yep.
That is absolutely true. And let's look that up. That's a good thing. I don't know if everyone's seen that. Let's see. DHS. No. There we go.
How you feeling, Diver?
No.
I gotta suppose it. Oops. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, I'm open. I got a clean bill of health from a surgeon earlier today. It says go ahead and resume normal activities. And then yesterday, I got a good news from the cardiologist. I don't need a pacemaker defibrillator yet.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. That's sort of good news, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah, it's always good when they don't put invasive materials inside your body that can shock the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Although they did save my father-in-law's life at least.
What's up, Rock?
Yeah, if you want to start with a guidelines for auditors or whatever they call themselves lately, you might start with journalistic ethics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've looked those up and they don't have any of those. All right, so here we go. This is dated November 13th, 2012. So roll call release. It says terrorists and criminals may use photos or videos of potential targets to gain insight into security operations and details of facility operations. including traffic flow through and around facilities, opening times, and access requirements. That sounds suspiciously like what auditors do. Of course, we know they're not terrorists, but would if someone were to read just the opening statement on this memo, somebody's out here filming and they're not talking to me, and they're using, or maybe they're using some gibberish language. What's really going on here? In late 2000, early 2001, convicted Al Qaeda operative Dihiran Barot, I'm probably butchering that, took extensive video footage and numerous photographs of sites in downtown New York City and Washington, D.C. in preparation for planned attacks. Photographs and videos useful in planning an attack may include facility security devices, surveillance cameras, security locks, metal detectors, jersey walls and planners, security personnel, facility entries and exits, and other features such as lighting, access routes, gates, roads, walkways, and bridges. So an individual took photographs of several buildings, a control tower, and lighting system poles associated with an elevated runway approach at an aviation facility. An individual was encountered videotaping in a well-known retail complex while in the garage. The individual had video of the building's ventilating system. The individual was arrested when he returned to the area after having been directed to leave. An individual took photos and video in a mall while holding the phone close to his body at waist level. The photographs and video footage included the mall storefronts, upper mall structures, bridges, exit doors, and closed circuit television cameras. So as you're seeing, they are using that. So this is why people are really kind of antsy about it, at least in some instances. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the auditors are doing anything like this. No. It doesn't mean that that's their intention. No. But they shouldn't be so pissed off when the cops show up.
True.
They've got to
Okay,
expect
other
it.
people can use their videos for those purposes.
Yeah.
And they should understand that. I mean, it is what it is.
That's where you run into the auditors and auditards. The auditors will be like Freeman, open their mouths the moment they're told to do something. And the auditors are just plain stupid. They don't do their research ahead of time. They don't know forethought to the fact that where they are may not be a traditional public forum.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I just saw 2 cases out west that I looked up, and one's in district federal court. The other's, I think, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, where they pretty much declared that all government property are non-public forums.
There you go. So Rocky, you're just getting in. What do you think about what we're talking about here?
I think it's important what you brought up about the terrorists, doing their surveillance and all the stuff that's happened. Not even just recently, but all the way back to like Timothy McVeigh. I mean, everybody that's ever done anything wrong had to do surveillance. And if you're looking suspicious and someone doesn't call the police, I would say that's a fail. Even truck drivers, anybody that has a CDL right now would know that you have to take a course on human trafficking, to where if you notice anything out of place, you're supposed to call the police. So these auditors need to understand that police force is going to be a thing. It's going to be in your presence, and it shouldn't be a fail because they do show up.
Mm-hmm. It should be more of how they interact with you. If they tell you, if they try and violate your rights, then yeah, obviously the police department failed because they're not supposed to be violating anyone's rights. But if they're showing up, they find out you're just filming, and they leave, and or they, even if they stick around just to see what you're doing, but they don't interact with you, I still think that's a pass. I mean, yeah, they're watching. Well, come on, you can't blame them, especially if auditors going around talking gibberish. It's like, that's ridiculous. That's suspicious. And no, it's not a crime, but it's also not a crime for the police officer to just sit there and watch you either.
Absolutely, they have the right to be in the area as long as they don't have another call to be at. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not fail.
Exactly. So they get pissed off and they think, oh, we're being. Then they go into the, oh, we're being followed in their what is the term they use? They're they're getting back at us. Shit, that's not the term though.
Retaliating.
Thank you. Retaliating against us. Wow, I couldn't think of that. Yeah, so they're retaliating against us, and they like to say that just because, the officer doesn't have anything else to do. He's not completely, thinking that you're not doing anything wrong, but he can't do anything, so he's kind of making sure he's there as a deterrent. And they take offense to that. And it's like, no, that's what the cops are there for. Do you take offense when a security guard is in a freaking store so you don't fucking steal? How dare you assume that I'm going to steal? Get the hell out of here,
Yes, that's what I said. As long as he doesn't have if he's not dispatched to another location, he's doing his job because he's in the public. Doesn't matter what they feel about it. He could sit there for as long as he feels necessary, and it's still not a fail.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else want to come up here and talk about this for a little bit? Taco? No, you got a lot to say, or Tim? But yeah, just so obviously, we've had this talk a lot about some sort of guidelines to doing it, but I just can't get over the fact that I don't think there could be a pass or fail unless there's a set rules on what causes a pass and what causes a failure. Because a pass to one auditor who doesn't mind when the cops are called is a failure to another one. It's like, well, how dare they just not let me sit here and film and do whatever the hell I want, sort of thing. It's ridiculous. There needs to be some sort of, even if we don't come up with it, they should come together. There should be a ruling governing body amongst the auditors themselves, which I know no one's going to agree with me on that. But I think even if they did that, then they police their own. They made sure that everyone is going by that. Then I think you would see an improvement, depending on what the things they come up with, obviously. And also, they need to really take a look at Poster 7 and all that good stuff, because they're completely, utterly wrong on that. No offense. Oh, okay.
I think it would be nice if auditors going into an audit would have a set, maybe even a notebook with a check sheet of what it is that they're going to check for, and go by that and actually educate the people beforehand what it is that they're looking for on this particular audit, and then have a pass or fail based on what criteria it is that you are checking that day. And it shouldn't ever be a test. It just should be a check of procedure or what's going on. If you're just going to show up and film and not say anything, how is that even an audit? That's not anything but you gathering content.
I totally agree with you. And but remember, something like that, what we're talking about, no one would watch it. No one will watch it.
That's where you lead from being an auditor into just making content for YouTube, and you are not auditing anything.
Oh, precisely. You will not get any argument from me on that. What's up, Tim?
Hey, guys.
Hi, Tim.
If you all
So what do you think?
If you all look in the private chat, that document should be mandatory reading for anyone thinking of doing an audit. It gives the other side's view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. So, Tim, what do you think about all this we're talking about?
All I know is that I shouldn't say all I know. First thing off, I know is it's great to hear NJ back in form today. And I made a comment earlier, actually a few minutes ago in chat, that NJ has like that voice and the attitude of Wilford Brimley. It's like, how do you argue with with a guy who speaks with that voice and with that attitude? I mean, it's like when NJ speaks, I shut up and listen.
Yeah, so what about what we're talking about, Tim?
I mean, it's a complicated issue, isn't it? I mean, it's almost like maybe there's no right answer. If that makes any sense.
No. How's there not a right answer? I mean, so you think that if a cop shows up at an audit it's an automatic failure? You think there's wiggle room between that?
Oh, wait a minute. All right. I misunderstood that. Okay. So, I mean, if a cop shows up at an audit, I don't know what that's about. But I mean, why would a cop show up at an audit?
Because
the
he got
cops are
called to
called.
it.
Yeah, they're called.
The
Yeah, and
dispatcher
so-
tells them where to go.
And so I don't agree with that. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's a waste of resources.
Okay, fair enough.
They don't have a choice on what calls they get. They get from the dispatcher and they have to go.
Unfortunately, yeah, exactly.
And
They have
what would you
And-
how would you see them? All right, Tim, let's say you're a dispatcher. You get a call, hey, there's some guy, he's kind of filming the barracks of Jesus Christ or whatever, what would you tell them? Would you dispatch your officers, or would you tell them there's nothing wrong with filming in public?
Honestly, I probably first try to find out what the hell they're talking about first, because I don't understand that. But I mean, obviously, a call comes in, you have an obligation, I think, to dispatch. And I hate to say that, and that's why it's such a crime when, like, the frauditards, they suck away those resources.
Have
the-
you ever
sorry, go ahead.
gone on a ride with a police officer? Ride along?
Me?
Have any of you?
No, I haven't.
All right.
Well, I mean, not on
90%.
not on purpose.
Yeah. 90% of their job is pure boredom, especially if nothing's happening in town. My father was on a police force for a small town in North Jersey for 26 years. I sat in the dispatch center right before I turned 18, and just to see what it was like. It was the most boring 6 hours of my life. Well, second most boring 6 hours. The most boring 6 hours was the one flight I took with the Air Force. I had nothing to do, and the rest of the crew was actually practicing their jobs. But anyway,
Oh, I thought there was a Sharon Stone joke in there somewhere.
no, not really.
Hey, where in northern New Jersey? Because my dad used to be a New Jersey state trooper.
Yeah, best I'll give you is Morris County.
Yeah, my mom was from Morristown and my dad was from Boonton.
Yeah, I know both towns very well. I've worked in both, and Morristown's a county seat. I've gone to jury duty at least once there many years ago. But the thing is, like firefighters and EMS personnel, the vast majority of their time is spent either doing nothing, reviewing and making out reports, maintaining their equipment, or training. And yeah, cops do train. They have to do a certain amount of reading and they have to do a certain amount of studying every so often just to maintain their rank, let alone advance in rank. And there are tests that they have to take for each step of the way up the ladder to whatever goal they have. It's the same as the military, basically. And when you've been sitting around for hours on your butt in a car, the only time you get out is maybe if somebody does an infraction in front of you on a good day for you. But on a regular boring day, I sat in that dispatch office for 6 hours. I think 2 calls came in. One was some kid cutting through a yard, and the other, I can't even remember. Oh, it was a trespass.
I know.
No, I've been called for it myself. Not that I did it. I'm the one that told the kid you're not coming through.
Get out
It
of
was my
yard.
property. He comes across my backyard neighbor's property walking his bicycle. I mean, it's not even a quarter mile for him to ride around to get to my street.
Well, you know what? Obviously that kid was, taking a shortcut, but I remember back in the day when I was a kid, and obviously, you and I are about the same age. When the kids in the neighborhood would play chase, and we'd be all over people's neighborhoods and yards and stuff like that, and they wouldn't care
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah, well, they might have, and if they did, your parents found out about it real quick.
Exactly.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
nowadays it's call the police because
Every
in many
time. Every time.
neighborhoods, your four neighbors on all four sides, you might not even know them all that well. Now, I'm in that situation now. I got a young lady mother bought the house north of me when the longtime residents moved out, and never really introduced themselves yet.
All right,
And
so
they lived right around the corner.
all right, so let's get back on track here. So Tim, back to what we were talking about. You believe it's a waste of resources when the cops are called out to somebody, an auditor out there doing what they're doing. You think it's a waste of their resources.
You know what? Honestly, based on video and stuff that I've seen, yeah, it's a total waste of resources.
Well, then what response should they have then? I mean,
that's the problem. They're legally obligated to respond, right? Ugh. It's like, what do you do?
Okay.
If someone from the public calls dispatch with any information about a location, they have to send an officer. It doesn't matter what it is. So if you look
Right.
suspicious and someone picks up on that and calls, if that dispatcher doesn't send an officer, that dispatcher is going to be responsible if anything does happen.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now,
I've seen how many times have you seen?
Sorry.
How many times have you seen like you hear on the newspaper, whatever? This happens to like person stabbed to death. Dispatcher ignored their call and didn't send anyone. How much trouble is that dispatcher getting? They're going to freaking call every single time to avoid something like that. This is their job, and we get on them for not calling the cops, for not sending the cops, and when something happens. But then then other people want to get on them for calling the cops when nothing happens. Why? How is the dispatcher supposed to differentiate between what's real and what's perceived through 2 to 5 minute phone call?
Can we extend this to maybe some prevention of these phone calls
Yes.
by giving more power to, okay, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but more power to the post office. Make that part of poster 7 a poster of its own, stating that you have to have permission from us to film in here. That
All
would
they
end a
need
lot
to
of
do,
that.
all they need to do is file a proposal in the Code of Federal Regulations in the Federal Register changing poster 7. There's two problems with it. One, they're too busy making holiday deliveries right now. And two, the post office is strapped for funding and it has to technically operate on its own revenues. They don't because their health and pension funds are backed up by Congress. But as far as operating goes, yeah, they don't have the money to spend to replace every poster 7 in every post office. It's as simple as dollar bill.
But
Like
NJ,
everything else.
with all due
Poster 7 is
respect, poster 7, it's a piece of paper. The government spends like billions on crap.
We know, but you're looking at a specific branch of the government, which, by the way, was established by the Constitution, and one of the only
Exactly.
ones.
So what do we do to actually change that? As opposed to having these morons walking into post offices saying like, "Ooh, you're posted
It
7."
it takes
It's
one person to sit down, come up with a proposal, get it approved by the higher ups, publish it in the Federal Register. 30 or 60 days later, after everybody's had public comment, you review all the public comments. If you have to alter it slightly because of those comments, you do so. You publish a final rule, and that now becomes effectively law.
now I think there's a simpler answer to this. All you have to do is define that part of Poster 7. Define it and make sure all post offices know the definition. Make sure that you let the law enforcement know of that definition, and
Do you-
therefore there is no work. There's no wiggle room. That's just it, and they
yeah,
enforce.
but you got to be aware of the CFR that's based on something or other 420. Anyway, and that in itself is just as vague as Poster 7. So that's where it needs to start, is have that CFR tightened up and explained better, and then everything else should flow down. Again, though, they don't want to do it because they got their own little, the agencies that would write that have their own budget problems. And they know the trickle down effect from a change like that would probably cost millions. To change every Poster 7 and every post office in the United States probably would cost millions of dollars.
Well, they
I don't want to
wouldn't really
sound.
have
I
to
don't want to
change it.
sound
They
stupid.
wouldn't really
I
have
don't
to
want to sound
change it.
stupid.
Hold on. They wouldn't really have to
My
change it. All they
my
would have
my
to do
original
is
idea is to just take a piece of paper, put it in your printer, type it up, make it bigger, make it just specifically about the filming, and post it on the front fucking door. You're not changing anything. You're just making it
All
more
right,
visible.
let me give you an
The whole
example.
part of Poster 7.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of something that actually exists exactly of what you're talking about. Every Social Security office in the country has posters in the vestibule on the second set of windows inside the vestibule that say no photography, no recording. The only place you're allowed to record in a Social Security office is when you go in the back room with one of their agents. You're allowed to record that little session in the private room. And I tell you right now, I've had people here in New Jersey violate that. I had an individual who calls himself a citizen video journalist video that poster in 2 different languages and then proceed to walk inside videotaping.
yeah.
Okay, in
No
that
name,
case,
no
he
name.
should have been
But
called. The cops should have been called.
They
it's
were. The security guard escorted the individual back out the door,
And that's
followed
the
them to
waste
their
of
car,
resources.
but
Bingo.
and then
not
the
only
police
that.
showed up.
No name is also audited inside Social Security buildings. I mean, they cite the public. It's the public photography law that they're talking about, and
What they don't
again,
know is that every different federal agency has different rules.
yeah.
Just like the VA hospital. If you lead the VA hospital rules, no, you can't.
Yep.
They may let you get away with it for a few minutes, but sooner or later, somebody's going to complain and you're going to get escorted out.
Yep.
But that's what ends up happening. These guys, they say like, oh well, someone else let someone else get away with it, so that's an actual precedent or something like that. I mean, is that what's going on?
Well, not that it's happening like a domino effect, but I know of 2 towns, one in Florida, one in Kansas. One was triggered by an auditor The other was triggered by the Fourth Estate. Now they have declared that their municipal properties, especially the one in Kansas, are non-public forums, and that certain First Amendment rights can be limited by time, place, and manner restrictions. And both ordinances have been upheld in court.
Oh,
A few
have
years ago, you would
Yeah, that's the
you
thing.
would be able to walk
A
in
lot
there
of the
going,
All right,
auditors.
two of you talking at once.
Hold on, Tim. Hold on.
I'm
Hold on,
sorry,
guys. Tim, hold
Jay,
on.
sorry.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's what the auditors don't seem to realize is the traditional and non-traditional public forums. They just think that, oh no, it's public, so I can just film. They don't worry about what's traditional, what's non-traditional, and nobody higher up seems to want to define it better or let them know they're doing something wrong. And it's just so they assume that whatever's in public they can do because there's no trickle down kind of enforcement going on for these non-traditional public forums.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with the one that Ian McGuire started, that's Punta Gorda, Florida, there is one little catch to it. Yes, you can go in and video in the town hall. The moment someone objects to it, you have to stop.
I think that's how it should be in every place. If people don't want it, especially when they're going into places like Social Security or some DMV or someplace where there's personal information, where or police station, domestic violence victims, stuff like that. If somebody asks you to stop, first of all, you should stop because you're a fucking human being and you have compassion for other human beings. But also, if that doesn't stop you, then the law should stop you.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but New York City, about a year ago, had an individual walk into one of their precincts filming and not being very quiet about it, being actually very vocal and vulgar. And since then, yeah, well, wait for it. Since then, every precinct in New York City has instructions that if someone walks in and is filming, they will be told to cease. And if they don't, they'll be arrested for disorderly and possibly trespassing. They will be told to leave. And of course, you know what the next sentence is after you must leave.
Yeah, is that a
Will
law?
I be in trespass? Am I being detained?
Is that a lawful command? Yes, it is. They're pretty stupid with
And
that.
that's not an ordinance. That's just the higher ups giving out policy instructions.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's just one of those things. So what can we do to kind of like what can we do as just a general public? Do you guys think to kind of just get some of these things we're talking about pushed through, like to make them act on some of these things we want them to act on? I mean, because we all feel very strongly about this, and I'm sure we're not the only people. And I think we can get something done, and we should try and get something done. Well, first let's start with Gary. What do you think?
Well, I can understand where the auditors believe that they're in the right, but you know, but that's just how they are interpreting whatever regulations or laws or whatever it is that they just want to interpret their interpretation of it. And as far as more security would be a nice thing. More like Mrs. J was talking about, the poster 7, blah blah. I know, poster
No,
7.
no,
But
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at one of the comments in the chat. Kill all the lawyers.
or
Yeah,
kill all the lawyers. There
and
you go.
violence solves nothing, Robert. It really doesn't.
Well, but is there really a violence if you're killing a lawyer?
Yeah, well, the other side of it is if you do that, I
hear
mean,
you,
the
Kenny.
poor mortuaries are going to be overwhelmed to begin with. They're not already with COVID. But the other side of it is who's going to get you out of jail?
Like the old joke, what do you call 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean? A good start.
A good
A good
start.
start.
Actually, that's not what I would call it. I'd call it pollution.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, Diver, what do you think?
Turn.
I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. With that document I posted in the private chat and over in the YouTube chat, if you read through that, you'll see that individual's making recommendations for all police departments, how to handle auditors. And granted, it's a year old now, but it's still timely because many towns, many cities have yet to deal with them because they're too busy with the protests, the riots. They're too busy with the election going on. And it's been a busy year between all of that and the pandemic at once. But once the pandemic settles out, we get the new administration in, and I think you're going to start seeing more of what we saw the other night with Freeman. You're going to see the police start putting up tape at traffic stops because of cop watchers. You're going to see police doing that in any situation where there is the potential for someone walking into the scene and either screwing up evidence or interfering with their function at whatever scene they happen to be at. And I think what you may see if it gets advertised big enough is more statutes like the one in Indiana, where automatically 150 feet from the scene, you got to stay away. And
NJ, with all due respect, the video that we saw with the whole taping off of everything and everything, has anyone actually confirmed that was actually a traffic stop? Okay, because
does it? All right, let me ask you this: does it matter?
Yeah, it does. It does in the sense that what I mentioned in a couple other chats, while watching the video, it's like, wow, why is this car like so far from like the main road? Okay, and honestly, I was like thinking maybe there might have been like a suicide or something going on. There could have been something serious going on, but it didn't matter to James Freeman, did it?
No, it never does.
No, but when you see a car pulled over and a police car behind it, for some reason or another, that could have been an emergency. You don't know, but that's where the auditors
it could have been somebody trying to change
right out the
flat.
window.
It could have been someone changing the flat, or their car died.
It could have been, but
future son-in-law had happened to him today. Of course, there's 2 inches of snow out where he is, but.
And that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know what
video. Whoever was in that car never came out the entire time. Okay, the cops actually left to take care of James Freeman and arrest him and stuff. And the car was still there. So that's why I'm wondering: was it as simple? Maybe it was as simple as somebody found an abandoned car.
And either that, or possibly the driver and or passengers were in one of the back seats of a police car.
Yeah, so that's the thing. See, with that is we didn't know what was going on, but if it was a traffic stop, the tape should, regardless. Now,
one of the things if you watch
James should have
Freeman's
videos, a completely different way. I'm saying the point is, my point is, he really should have gone behind the tape and kept filming.
Absolutely,
try and take care of it right
there.
The
one thing he could have done, instead of walking on private property the way he did, was walk down the sidewalk to the corner. He could have made a right, got right in behind the police cars, got right up next to him. As long as he keeps walking, they're not going to pay any attention to him. They see he's walking, they see he's going away, and he could have walked right out in front, down the sidewalk, out in front of the car, turned around, and then started filming there. And I'll wager, had he done that, he wouldn't be in the situation he is now.
Yeah.
And he would have gotten close-ups of both police cars, maybe even gotten to see if anybody was in them. He would have been able to see who, if anyone, was in the car that was in front of the police cars, and gotten a whole hell of a lot more information. In my personal opinion, he was there for a confrontation with the police. He wasn't
Oh,
there
absolutely.
to film the police. He was there for a
Agreed.
confrontation.
Oh, absolutely. You could tell
Yeah.
just from the fact that he went off on the cops just when they told him, hey, don't come so close. And he just went off on him. You knew right there. And the cops knew right there what that was all about. And they, instead of engaging him, they wanted to put the tape up. Whether right or wrong, they wanted to just de-escalate the situation that James was trying to escalate.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%. I mean, the tape came out almost immediately when he
Oh,
showed
yeah.
up.
Oh, because as soon as he got done cussing him out, they're like, okay, we're done. Just put the tape up. We're going to handle this and not deal with him.
Yeah,
And
well,
they thought that
you
would take
do
care of
know
it.
he's got a reputation in Tucson.
I did. Oh, maybe that's why
There
then.
was something going on there that night, though. There was something going on with that car. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
Okay,
No,
it doesn't.
but
it's a
Yeah,
simple
I mean,
it
fact
doesn't
that
really matter what the
It
circumstances
no,
of the
doesn't
stop
matter.
were.
it's a simple fact that James came up completely aggressive. It's nighttime. The traffic stops, if it is a traffic stop, are some of the most dangerous instances for a cop. They're trying to diffuse. They're trying to handle one situation, but also let James continue his filming, do what he wants to do, but the cops can remain safe in their environment. And that's what that
And
was all about. James, of course, took that as as fighting words and decided to escalate. And we're here. And what happened happened.
yeah, and you do realize also that your night vision gets destroyed by the flashing lights and, of course, somebody shining a flashlight in your face.
Oh yeah. And I was heard that
Totally
he
lose
told
your
that
night vision.
he was using a strobe light on the cops too, from what I was told. Someone said he was using a strobe light. So anyway, back to what we were talking about before we got to Tim. Back to the what do you think we could do to change things or whatever?
okay. Now I'm confused. Okay, change things in regards.
Well, here's
to
here's the thing. That's what happens when you change the subject like you did. You forget the
Yeah.
original subject.
Yeah, I'm
So
such
don't
an
do it. So don't do that
asshole.
next time.
We go down so many rabbit holes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got burns on our sides.
Okay, so let's continue not going down another rabbit hole and continue down because we still got to get to Rocky too.
Okay. Kenny, ask me the question once more.
So with everything that's been going on, all we've been talking about, all the issues we see, what are some ways we could get changes done to change things?
Well, I think the first, and you know, I don't want to say the most obvious because you know I'd like to think that it's been tried before, but it wouldn't be the first time today that I've been called naive, you know. But I would think that the first thing to do is go to your, you know, legislature. You know, you build from the ground up, I would think. Okay, you start, okay, fine. It's like, you know, marijuana isn't legal countrywide, but it is in some states, isn't it?
It
So
soon
maybe
will be in New
sometimes you
Jersey.
have to start, you know, on a state level, you know, and you know, but I think I think it means that people actually have to stand up for themselves, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's interesting you say start at the state level because that would encompass the entire state. The trick is most legislators that I've ever encountered, when you get a piece of legislation that is, I guess you'd call it a do-good piece of legislation, whereas it's not making the state any money. In fact, it may cost the state a little money. They're really reticent on even proposing it.
Right, now,
Believe me, I've run into it. I dealt with it for like 16 years.
And here in Massachusetts, I mean, yeah, I've seen it.
So Rocky, what do you think?
If we're talking about the original
Yes,
topic
we
of
are.
police
We are.
being on the scene, That policy is never going to change. If anything, it's only going to get more strict. So having a police on scene, that's not going to happen. Having citizens being suspicious of what they're seeing, that's probably only also going to get worse.
Voice ring.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be more suspicious of what they see as time goes on and what's going on in society. The only thing that could change would be these auditors being more professional about what they do, and I honestly don't see that changing.
Well, there are, like I said, there are some that are pretty respectful to a certain degree, as long as they feel that they are respected too. There are even auditors. There are even auditors that'll go out there and let people know what exactly they're doing. They won't say, "Oh, I'm not going to answer any questions." Some of them will actually answer questions, and even in those instances, there are times where even those auditors still run into problems, even though they did tell people exactly what they were doing. People still have an issue with it and take issue with it. So, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, like, there has to be more education to the public, I guess, because even when certain auditors do, like, explain what they're doing, it doesn't necessarily de-escalate the situation. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's education that's going to be the key, but how do you get that education to people? It's obviously people that are following these circles can see and realize what's going on, but not everybody does that. So, like I said, police policy is always changing. It's actually changing as we speak, and a lot of agencies are adopting new policies, but it's not ever going to be changed to where a dispatcher has the determination to say, okay, well, I don't feel like this would warrant sending one of my officers out. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's wrong, though.
How's that wrong? How's it wrong that a dispatcher should be the one to determine if an officer goes or doesn't go? If a call comes in, they have to.
Well, I don't know about your state, but I know mine doesn't. There are no standards for dispatchers. Unless it's been written into a state statute somewhere and you can find it. As far as I know, my state doesn't have any. They can hire somebody to just sit there and answer the phone.
Well, then they relay the call to a police officer who, if it's not tied up with something more pressing, will go. As long as you have staff on hand working, they're going to show up.
Absolutely.
But if you're in a situation where your dispatcher is willing to listen to Eric Brandt for 10 or 15 minutes, okay, any other place would like chop the line at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, it must have been a slow day.
Okay, all right.
Even the dog's laughing.
He's actually an ex-service dog, as a matter of fact. But
Really?
and the point I'm making is it doesn't matter.
Oh.
You're going to always find a situation where one of these calls will go through and a dispatcher can send an officer. That's not going to change. That's not going to be the solution to this problem.
Because it's always going to happen. They have to send someone.
Right. So the original question that Kenny proposed to us was, how is it a fail that a police officer shows up? You have to take that out of the equation because that can't change.
It's not a
And
failure.
you have to go to, it's not a failure, but it's still the proposed question that we're discussing. And it's not going to change on the policy level of the police department or dispatch. It's going to have to go to public and auditors. They're the only other people involved in this.
No, absolutely. You're right. It's not going to change. Well, what needs to happen is, again, the auditors, they need to realize that the cops are going to be called. If the cops are called, they're going to show up. Now,
They want them to show up. They want the confrontation.
Yeah, of course, because their video wouldn't get nearly the views it would without a cop. Now, unless they're doing a live stream. If they're doing a live stream, then obviously they don't care if the cops show up because But for the most part, yeah, and so the auditors need to realize that the cops are going to show up. And if they deem it a failure after the cops show up and the cops try to violate their rights, then yeah, okay, I get it. The cops try to violate your rights. Then yeah, they completely and utterly fail. Well, the cops come in and say, "Oh yeah, you're doing just fine. There's nothing wrong here." Blah blah blah, and whatever. And they ask them, "So what's your name?" "Oh, that's a failure because you asked my name." Well, no, they're just having a conversation. They can ask you your name. They're not saying you have to give them your name. If they say you have to give me your name, now if it's a stop and ID state, then well, that's different. But just for normally, no, it's not against the law. It's not violating your rights. That's just ridiculous.
Well, if you want some examples of real audits that are done correctly, look at Honor Your Oath, Jeff Gray. The man knows what he's doing and has won, I think, most, if not all, of his court cases. He doesn't have as many as Eric Brandt because he's not as obnoxious, but he's vocal. I'll be polite and say vocal. Yeah. I got to laugh at that too. But you look at someone like Laura Shark, she'll make remarks, but they aren't the type of language or remarks that is gonna really trigger somebody. And the thing is, the area that she does her cop watching in, and that's all she does, she's not an auditor, they know her very well. And they not just tolerate her, they know because of where the state that she's in, that she is allowed by both Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and California statutes to be able to do what she does. And unfortunately, we've only got 12 Circuit Court of Appeals, and only half of them have found for the recorder. And of those, it's strangely only the odd numbered ones.
But isn't Laura considered like a really good, like you said, not an auditor, but a cop watcher? I mean,
Yeah.
Isn't she considered really good?
Absolutely, in my mind, in my opinion. And because she doesn't intrude herself into the scene, she treats the officers with the respect that they show. And I've always said, you don't necessarily have to give respect. You just necessarily, if you want respect, you need to give it. If you want a reaction out of somebody, yeah, trigger them. But the other side of the story with that is do what you know is legal, do what you've confirmed is legal, and there should be no problem with what you're doing. If the other side creates a problem, then that has to be dealt with either at scene, if you can convince the officer that shows up that you are perfectly within your rights doing what you're doing, or you have your day in court. There was someone I just posted earlier today. I don't know what I did with the video, and I can't remember where in Discord I posted it. But the young man was videotaping outside some sort of refinery, never walked on their property. They've got big signs up there that say no photography, but none of it's backed up with any ordinance, with any statute, because it's private property. As long as you're on their property, you've got to abide by their protocols, by their rules. He was on a public sidewalk. Officers came up, immediately got belligerent with him because he told them exactly what he was doing, exactly why it's legal for him to do, and both officers decided that they didn't want to hear it. And they ended up arresting him and charging him with, I think, 3 different charges. He beat all 3 in court, and he's now filed a lawsuit.
So one thing about Laura Shark, I've seen a couple of her audits. One I saw, she was with Ricky Monday and Tom Zebra, and they were at a freaking they decided to do a traffic stop, and Ricky Monday's dumbass fucking wanted to get in the car, fucking drive past, and he's it was a pig, and he's filming while he's there. They're in California, mind you, filming while he's at a traffic
that explains
light.
it.
at a traffic light and he's filming a cop and just talking all kinds of shit. So the cop looks back and says, "Are you driving?" Oh, no, I'm at a stop. Oh, so he gets him for driving while using his cell phone while driving. I'm like, oh, this fucking idiot, and he wants to fucking complain and resist arrest and all this stuff. And Tom Zebra and we're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, well, obviously what they're doing. He's an idiot. He pretty much brought this shit upon himself. If he would have went and parked and started filming, there probably wouldn't have been an issue. Because they didn't have an issue with Laura Shark and Tom Zebra who were up there filming. They had an issue when Ricky Monday decided to be a jackass. And when he decided to be a jackass, they saw he was doing something wrong. Said, okay, well, now we're going to call you on your bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. If you cross the line, they're going to hem you up because not just because you're filming them, but because you stepped over the line. You gave them the reasonable suspicion or probable cause to arrest you. Of course, you need probable cause to arrest. And the reasonable suspicion is, yeah, you're doing something out of the ordinary, but even that doesn't really meet the Terry stop in most states. But if you do violate, if you don't have your car in 100% shape for going through inspection per se, or have all your paperwork properly done, they're going to nail you on it because you've given them the excuse to.
You jinxed me on the inspection part. I have to go for my inspection tomorrow.
Yeah, well, a lot of my centers are in this state are closed because one or two of their employees caught COVID, so they got to quarantine the whole place for 14 days. And yeah, my younger sister's involved in purchasing a car from out of state. She has all the paperwork to show somebody, and she moved the plates over from her old car, but the closest DMV is closed. Next closest doesn't do registrations and titles. I don't know what they do if they don't do those, but
So Rocky, have you seen the James Freeman video where he was arrested and tased?
No, I have. I've been off of YouTube for most of the weekend from Kidney Stone again, but I did actually get to see it.
What'd you?
I think he should have stayed back because when you have obviously two police officers behind a parked car, you don't know if one of the officers saw someone throw something out the window. There's so much left out of that.
Yeah.
You can't really base anything that from what you saw there. There could have been shots fired previous to the officers getting there, and there could be showcasings in that
Could have been
terrain that he's walking up to. There's evidence that could possibly be there that they wanted him to stay off of. Possibly, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it's one of the possibilities. The tape, whether to keep him back just because they know him and didn't want to deal with him, I don't know, or it's something they saw, something that happened before he got there. We just don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you, but then as Tim was saying later on, the guy just freaking kind of left the car that they were stopping. They let him go and dealt with Mr. Freeman. So it leads me to believe that it was just a traffic stop or some really minor infraction. So with taking that, hold on, Tim. I'm not finished, Tim. I'm not finished.
Kenny, I'm sorry. I said that in jest. I was kidding when I said that. I was like, oh, notice how like the guy who got pulled over like drove off.
Well, at least he got off.
Well, the point is he did get off.
I'm sticking to we don't know what happened.
But they dealt with him instead of the car, obviously, because they were dealing with him. Oh yeah, it's not just him; it was his buddy that decided to go. That was so funny. Get on the ground! Told the cop to get on the ground. Yeah. That was hilarious.
I actually didn't see the car drive away. I didn't know about that part, so I don't know what happened there. So I can't speak on that.
Well, what do you think about the tape coming out, though? Do you think that they should have brought the tape out, or do you think that was justified, or what do you think?
Again, without seeing anything ahead of that, if they felt like there's evidence on the ground, a lot of times people pitch stuff out the window, and that would be the side that it typically happens on. I could see why they would want him to not approach the scene.
Okay, let's say that it was just a traffic stop. Let's just say for shits and giggles, just for sake of argument, that was a traffic stop. If it were just a traffic stop, should they have brought the tape out?
Sure.
I would, yeah. I mean, you don't want someone right up against a traffic stop because I lost a dear officer in a stop that was just a traffic stop. He got out with an AK-47, blew two
Ooh.
officers away, and if you're standing right next, it's going to happen to you too. You don't know what's going on, so stay back away from the scene.
What needs to happen is somebody needs to put in an open public records request for the report on that.
Yeah.
The only trouble is it's an ongoing investigation, so they might not release it.
Yeah, but let's at least find out what exactly was going on. Okay, before we, start criticizing the cops for putting an unlawful tape around the scene.
Well, no, that's the thing. We don't know, and that's why that's why I prefaced it with if it was just because we don't know exactly what was going on, why they put it up. Well, actually, we know why they put the tape up because James is being a dick and they wanted him away, obviously. Now, I guess the question is whether or not should they or should they not have. But at the same time, I mean, I think they figured it was the best solution to their current problem. That way, they don't have to worry about him and the occupants of the car.
Nor would they have to worry about people coming after him. Again, they just got there the same time. Okay, so they're setting everything up. Okay, they already know James Freeman's there. What other moron is going to show up? Oh, yeah, the guy who showed up, throwing the whole, you're under citizen's arrest, you get on your stomachs. That's why they put the tape up, because there's a crime scene.
Yeah, are you guys familiar with what went on earlier this year in Tucson with their ordinance about interfering with police?
No.
Well, they've made resolutions, haven't they?
Yeah, they created and passed an ordinance mainly because of several groups of auditors that were not exactly auditors in their behavior outside of one of the Tucson precincts. And I saw that video. It was, I think, Freeman's or one of the others that was there. And I mean, 4-letter expletives out of every one of their mouths, every other word. And derogatory remarks about the officers that were going in and out. And one of them had to go in to do something, either retrieve a camera or some other piece of evidence they were withholding. That was the excuse to gang up on that individual police station. And it got to a point where the police said, you're going to leave, you're going to take your cars out of our parking lot, or we're going to have them towed. So they just moved their cars across the street and continued. And the only unfortunate part about that was that a celebrity got involved in the protest on that ordinance that was passed, and they repealed it. And what worst of it is, the ordinance recognized their right to film.
Mm.
What they didn't recognize was there any right that they think they have to interfere with an officer's duty.
Yeah, so that whole situation was just he was looking to start it, and he did, and he really should have backed up. What's up, Police De-Escalation Task Force? How are you?
Second. Good. I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, so good. So, what do you think about this whole? Since being an auditor yourself, do you consider when the police are called? Let's say you go on an audit, the police are called. You automatically consider that a failed audit?
No, I don't consider it a pass either.
Okay, no, that's fair.
I mean, I think it's I mean, we can't base it off auditors because auditors are the ones testing the cops. So the auditors can't pass or fail, but at the same time, I mean, I think the cops, it just depends on if they're going to uphold their oath to the Constitution they make, If they're going to uphold it, then they're good. I mean, they passed.
Wait, did you say we can't we can't judge the auditors on pass or fail, or the auditors can't judge it on pass or fail.
You can't do the pass or fail on the auditor. I mean, you could say, yeah, they're being bad auditors and stuff, but I mean, we're not being graded on nothing. You know, we're grading the cop. We can't grade ourselves.
Okay, no, okay, that's fair. But as somebody that's
Maybe you should be
auditor,
graded.
but why? But yeah, I mean, why can't anyone grade the auditors? I mean,
well, I think,
I
guess you could. Yeah, I guess you could grade an auditor. I guess, yeah.
I mean, if you
right
can grade the cops, why can't we grade auditors?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Auditing, audit the auditors. You guys could fail or pass.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's for sure one of those things.
I'd love to get him on a panel.
Who?
I mean, nothing derogatory, but I'd love to have Audit the Audit on a panel to learn from it.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
I didn't specifically mean when I said that. It's the context.
Yeah, he does good work, and unfortunately, he's not as popular as he should be in my mind. But you have others like I guess I don't know if you're all familiar with Merbeast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of his videos his older ones especially, are very informative. Granted, most of them are California based because that's where he lives. But the trick is, and people don't understand, is when you pass the bar, it's not just your specialty that you're passing. You have to know a full gamut of different laws in order to become a recognized lawyer. And yeah, it is the Bar Association, but they, like police, they police themselves. And believe me, they can do a very good job of it. They will disbar someone as long as everything, like a police investigation, shows that they deserve to be disbarred. Hell, they disbarred a judge in my county last year. I mean, the county prosecutor got him defrocked, and then the Bar Association got looking into it on the recommendation of the prosecutor, and he pled no contest to it, I believe, and he got himself into pretrial intervention program as a first-time felon. And if nobody had paid attention to it, he could have got his record expunged. Granted, he'd never be a judge again, but he could still practice law. Now he can't do either.
But you said that you got him fired. I think it was Glenn that got him fired, don't you? Glenn Serio.
Okay, so police says yes. He already. I was going to ask him about the James Freeman. Oh, he's coming back. So I was going to ask you, did you see the James Freeman video?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen the James Freeman video.
What did you think?
Yeah. What I saw, the cop escalated it, but I mean, I saw both of them escalated it. I mean, the cop he shouldn't have put up tape, but at the same time, I don't think James should have been up in his face like that and everything. I think it could all been handled differently, Well, in my situation, I probably wouldn't have been arrested that night. I would have figured out a way not to be arrested.
Here's my question. Why is putting up tape escalating the situation? To me, it looked like he was trying to de-escalate the situation and not deal with James.
Yeah, you could say that, but the tape, the point of police tape, from what I learned, is the point of police tape is to preserve evidence, right? Mm-hmm. So when you put up tape, there was no evidence to be preserved, so it was completely pointless.
Well, that's the thing we don't really know about that.
I don't know about that.
We don't know the stuff that went on before James showed up and started taping, and maybe the reason.
Yeah, but you realize that as soon as he showed up with those cameras, that's when they started putting up that tape. As soon as he showed up.
Well, as soon as he showed up and they asked him to back him, he was like, fuck you, pig, and all that stupid shit. Then they put up the tape. They did it in response to James being abrasive.
Oh, maybe I didn't pay attention enough on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
well,
you know, maybe
they
you
asked
did
him.
because I mean,
They
you know, some people might interpret it like that. I personally think that Glenn, not Glenn, that he just happened to come upon the scene, because of the edits in the video.
Uh-huh.
And they were gonna get ready to put up the video. They were gonna get ready to put up the yellow tape anyway.
no, it didn't look like that. It looked like
Okay.
they were dealing with what they were doing, and then James showed up. They said, they asked him to back up. James immediately said, "Fuck you! I'm not doing anything you tell me to do." They said, "Okay, hey, you, why don't you go put?" They asked him one time, and then they put up the tape. So it's obviously was in response to him being. It had nothing to do with him filming. They never told him he couldn't film. Never, not
Right.
once.
Nope.
Their only objection was him being as close as he was. And we don't know the situation, so we don't understand if it was
Exactly.
warranted or not.
I mean, can anyone get a police report?
It's still an ongoing thing, so probably have to wait on that one. But yeah, and then his friend came over
Oh God!
after he was arrested. You know who that? So people keep saying that was cameras and mass. No, that was Pigs Under Pressure. I think someone was saying. Is that who it was? Do we have confirmation on that? I never saw him. I just heard him.
Is there video from his side?
There probably is. I don't know if he released it.
It is Pigs Under Pressure.
It is. Did he release his version of it?
That is him.
Did he release his version of it?
Oh yeah, but he privatized it the next day. Yeah, he privatized it.
Damn it!
Probably because he realized how stupid he looked.
But yeah, he was yelling at the cops, telling them to get on the ground and everything.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Maybe we'll call Jared and his contacts in the deep dark web, and he can dig up the video.
That's just one of the damn Tim snorted and everything.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't snort at my own jokes. I know.
What do we got here?
But after that Penn State one I said the other day, never mind.
All right. So, yeah, that was interesting. So, can someone turn down the? All right, so I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to give everyone a chance to say something last minute. Diver, you got anything last minute to say?
Yeah, sorry, my wife was talking to me. What'd you say?
Do you have anything last minute to say?
Well,
it's not
basically what we've been talking about is reality bit him.
Oh, holy shit. He does have the video. Hey, you guys want to watch it? Let's watch it.
Oh!
Hold on, let me make sure I have it first. There we go. Oh my god, this is going to be hilarious. You can see it from his side.
I'm going to mute myself because I don't want to hear you guys, you guys to hear me like, snorting and stuff.
All right, here we go.
Hey, I need some help, you guys. Where's Freeman at? Does anybody know where he's at? Look on his live stream, see if you can figure out where he's at. He's right here somewhere. Son of a bitch. I know, I saw it too. No, I'm not staying back nowhere. What? No, what are you doing? No, I'm not staying back nowhere. You guys are all under citizen's arrest right now. You guys are all under citizen's arrest. This is crime scene tape here. No, you are under citizen's arrest for an illegal. You guys are in violation. Back the fuck up. Back away from me.
You notice he said they're in violation, but he never said what they're in violation of.
Yeah, but guys, he made it a twofer.
He did. He really did. Oh, this is just, I'm already laughing.
6 feet. Back the fuck up. Back up. Back away from me, bitch. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Fuck you. Where's Freeman? Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Move. Don't touch me. Let him go. Let him go. Let him fucking go. Let him out of there. You guys violated his fucking rights. You're all under arrest. This is a citizen's arrest. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Where's your supervisor at, you son of a bitch? I want your supervisor. I want your supervisor. I seen this live. His rights were violated. He was filming from public. You guys are some punk motherfuckers. You're a bitch. What's your name and your badge number, punk? What's your name and your badge number, punk? You know how to talk, bitch? You know how to talk, you fucking loser? What's your name, bitch? What's your fucking name? Tell me your name now. You're violating your policy, you fucking piece of shit. What's your name and your badge number, bitch? Fuck you. Don't fucking tell me to read, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'll tell you what I know how to read from 1,000 yards, you fucking piece of shit. That's how I know how to read. Fuck you. Fuck you. You guys are pieces of fucking shit. Because I'm fucking good from behind a fucking lens, bitch. Let him go. This is a citizen's arrest. You guys need to all get on the ground. This is bullshit. This is a citizen's arrest. You guys are all under arrest. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? Go ahead, tow it. Tow it. I don't give a fuck. What's your name and your badge number? What's your name and your badge number? What's your name and your badge number? What's your name and your badge number, punk? Yes,
I'm pretty sure he can't park there either, so he totally could get towed. He's really not helping the situation here at all.
No.
He's not doing anything that's going to help James in the slightest. Yet people are proud of him doing this. I don't get it. What's to be proud of here?
He's like the mother-in-law who won't shut up.
I do, motherfucker. I'm a free American, you fucking piece of shit. What? Oh, I'm not free, bitch? I'm not free? Go fuck yourself. I sure the fuck wouldn't do your piece of shit job. Fuck you. I am serving my country right now, you fucking piece of shit. I'm serving my country right now, bitch. Taking care of tyrants like your punk ass. You're a fucking punk, dude. Fuck you. You're a punk. I'll serve you, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. Freeman, I got you, brother. I'll bail you out tomorrow, man.
Anyone notice?
This is a 1,000 secured, right? Okay. Okay, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we're good. And they're all real, hopefully. You got 9 a.m. court. You did not. I seen it all. I got it recorded, brother. You did not. You did not. You ran. They were assaulting you. I've got 115 people on here that seen it as well. You're a fucking piece of shit. I've got it all recorded, you fucking morons. Give me his equipment. Where's his glasses at? Where's his equipment at? You don't know shit, do you? You don't even know who the fuck you are, do you? Exactly. It's your policy, you piece of shit. What's your fucking name and your badge number?
I thought policy.
Okay, 6234. There you go. Now we're getting somewhere.
You know how to read.
I do know how to read. I don't have to read. You need to identify, motherfucker. You need to identify. That ain't shit. Look at this. This is my name, you fucking moron. Back up, bitch. Back out of my face, bitch. You're a fucking punk, dude. You're trying to fucking arrest me too. You're trying to assault me and then pull an assault charge on me, you fucking piece of shit. These pigs stole his camera. It's okay. I recorded everything. I recorded it all in here. I've got the evidence for him. The lawyer has literally been contacted already. The lawyer has already been contacted.
I'm sure.
He needs medical here now. He needs medical. Hey, everybody, call Tucson Fire. We need medical over here. We are on Congress and the freeway and I-10. We need medical. They're stealing his shit. James, he was punching James in the head. James is in the back of this car. He needs medical. He needs medical. He needs medical, bitch. You guys punched him. He needs medical. Call for medical. Call the medics. Will you guys get over to his? Is his feed still going? Is his?
So he never got arrested? Apparently he never got arrested. Okay.
That was hysterical.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so we saw it from after he was arrested. Diver, let's start with you. What do you think?
Hey, Kenny.
Yeah.
He was arrested.
Oh, he was?
Oh,
Yeah, he got arrested, and then what happened was the live stream cut off. He said he squeezed his phone, and the live stream cut off, so he was arrested, actually.
Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, there you go. Oh, he didn't film it? That must suck for him. So, Diver, what did you think about that? Come back to Diver. Tim, what did you think?
that pretty much confirmed everything I suspected from the first video. I mean, this guy shows up on the scene, hasn't seen shit. Okay, he just shows up on the scene because he hears the 911 call from James, right? He didn't see squat. He was interfering, and if he did get arrested, good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Gary, what'd you think?
Everybody's snoozing, Kenny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right,
Wait, I had my mic on mute. I was feeding the dog.
So what did you think about that whole
Okay, what I said was, how did I word that? Oh, okay. I was just surprised that all the policemen didn't fall on the ground when he told them, they're all under arrest. That's, gosh, I would have, man. Yeah, I feel like reminded me of the Gomer Pyle, going, citizens arrest, citizens arrest.
Yeah.
Shazam!
All right, so what did you think, police de-escalation?
Can you come back to me?
Yeah, sure. Rocky, what do you think?
I think it's pathetic. I mean, if you take rights and everything else aside, as a human being, as a man, how can you act that way and then post it on YouTube? It's a shame. How would you feel if someone not in a uniform came up to him and talked the exact same way he was talking in his face? They could actually do something about it. What would be his reaction then, I wonder?
No, I agree. I think you're right. Diver, are you back? Diver is not back. All right. All right. What you got, police de-escalation? I'll give you a minute.
Yeah, sorry, I was coming home from work, but
Oh, it's okay.
yeah, my opinion on that was like, I don't know. I just think he could have handled it a lot better than he did. He didn't have to come out and tell the cops to get on the ground, you're under arrest. I just think that was a little more sovereign than anything.
Now, do you think that he had a rightful to form a citizen's arrest on them? Did they violate James' rights in your opinion at any of those moments?
Well, I mean, that doesn't matter. I mean, if they violated his rights or not isn't like the point. I mean, the point is you just can't go out and say get on the ground. That's never going to work. I mean, that's just like a ineffective way.
Good point.
To do things. If James' right is violated, then it could be taken to court and everything like that. But as of being on the scene, telling them to get down, you're all under arrest. That's just ridiculous. Sovereign citizen stuff.
No, absolutely. He really looked like an absolute fool when he went up there. Where he came up, how he just parked, like he could just park anywhere he wanted. He could tell he was all fired up. He thought he was going to go there and have James released. Why is it that auditors think that as soon as they show up to a place, they're recording, they let them know that they're live streaming, and all of a sudden the cops be like, oh, damn, oops, I guess you can go free. Oh, you were robbing this bank, but now you have a camera on me? Oh, of course, you just go ahead and take that money and go on then.
Shit, James, so sorry.
I mean, I've never even told them I'm live because it really doesn't matter if you're live or not. I mean,
it doesn't.
It really doesn't. Yeah.
They seem to think that though. You have people who who will just say they're live, or they'll say they have, you have hundreds of people watching you, and you look at the video and it's got like 50 views on it. It's like, get the fuck out.
That'd be so true,
Kenny,
though.
Kenny,
Like
you know,
Josh.
in both of the guys' defense,
Yeah.
you know, can I just say that I was really impressed that the entire time neither of them shouted out their YouTube channels and told people to subscribe.
They didn't actually.
Like,
I'm surprised that no one said subscribe. I'm really surprised that they didn't try and get some views off of that. Oh my god, you guys believe this? Hit that like button. What, really?
No, he was too busy fighting for our rights. He didn't have time to say all that.
That's not ridiculous sometimes.
That was like a
Jesus.
clusterfuck. I'm sorry.
Yep. Let's see if we can get Kimber up here, and Kimber can let us know what she thought too. Come on up, Kimber. Tell us what you thought.
Kimber.
Yeah, so that is, oh man, that is. So what did they end up arresting him for?
Obstruction, probably. Maybe.
It was assault on a police officer. That's all. That's the only charge. It was aggravated assault on a police officer.
Oh, he actually assaulted a police officer. Whoa.
No, it was because when the cop was punching him, according to James, it was because when the cop was punching him, there was blood on the cop's hands, and the cop charged him for the blood on the cop's hands, which is aggravated assault on a police officer, I guess. But
they didn't
get
him for, really? They didn't get him for resisting arrest because he was completely.
Nope, nothing else.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
that's surprising as hell. They could have got him for a lot of crap. That's really surprising. What did they get pigs under pressure for?
I don't know. I didn't see that far into it. I just heard he was arrested, and he did explain. I remember him explaining when he squeezed his phone, the live stream shut off, and then he was arrested. That's what he said. But I don't know exactly for what.
Oh, okay. No worries, Kimber. Big storm. Well, make sure you stay safe.
Oh.
So SC already did a video of it and highlights the part where James seems to have hit the officer. Okay.
Oh.
So maybe he did hit him. Okay. Well, still, you would think that they would have tried to stack him up because they could have got him for resisting arrest, interference, because he wouldn't leave the crime scene.
But
and
let
then
me say
aggravated
something.
assault.
But I don't think aggravated assault on a police officer is something to give somebody just for the fact of it being inconvenience to them. You know what I mean? I don't think. I mean, that's a felony crime. I mean, that's like something you would give to somebody who tried to like take your taser or some shit.
Well, no, I agree. But but like you're saying, if like Schrodinger's cat shows that he did hit him, then if he hit him, then that's assault, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, again, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen this, and I remember watching it. It looked really dark, and I couldn't see if it looked like he hit him or not. So I don't know, but I do know just from hearing it and seeing how the camera work was, resisting arrest for sure, and for sure interference for sure that he could have got for those. The aggravated assault, I can't really say yay or nay on that, to be honest with you. But I guess it'll come out in the when this all goes to trial. So I'm sure he's gonna.
Hey Kenny, if I could ask de-escalation a quick question, because obviously, you know, he uses a camera and everything like that. Is it possible that he was actually looking through the viewfinder of the camera? Okay, and I think everybody knows when you look through a viewfinder of a camera, you know, distance is a little bit off. Okay, so is it possible that, you know, when, you know, he might have been trying to be a smartass and saying like, hey, back off, and he stuck his hand out and accidentally hit the cop? Is that something that could have happened?
Yeah, it is something that could have happened. But if that's the case, if he accidentally hit the cop in that situation, I don't think he should be in jail. You know, I mean, I just don't think he should have ever been charged. I mean, that's like a 10-year charge. I mean, aggravated assault on a police officer is a serious offense.
And it would be on video too, right?
What? Yeah.
It would probably be on the video too, which it wasn't.
It would be on the video.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, just from the video, it was too dark and it looks like it was just hard to see if that actually happened or not. So It looks like it's going to come down to the cop versus James. That's what it looks like. Unless body cameras show differently.
I was gonna say there's always gonna be the body camera footage that you're not gonna see just yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they have body cameras on or not. I'm not sure. But
Is NJ back yet?
no, I don't think so.
Oh.
Yeah, but that was so yeah. If you hit a cop accidentally or not, you should go to jail. See, that's the thing. Like, if you hit a cop,
Bullshit.
even if it's I think if it's accidental, but if it's accidental when you're if you're just walking down the street and you say, "Oh my bam," you actually hit a cop. Okay, that's different. But if you're resisting arrest, how can you really say if it's an accidental hit or not? Right? I mean, that's hard. How are you going to prove? How are you going to prove that?
Yeah, but I've been hit before where it
resisting
hasn't been reported to the cops too. I mean, like, we need to quit being a big baby about being hit. And you were a kid, you played football, you got hit.
Yeah, exactly. You got hit. Shut up. Get back.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
That's a really good point here. Then why don't auditors stop being a big baby whenever their camera's touched?
That's a good point too. I like that.
I mean, come on. I hope I hear you say that the next time we do a video on an auditor's camera being hit. And you say, "Don't being a big baby, auditor." I better hear that because you're talking about the cops being a big baby. Then auditors shouldn't be a big baby.
Yeah, but we're not putting them in a cage for 10 years for it.
No,
you're not putting the baby in the corner.
True, but all right, yeah, no, I agree. But look, if it's like this, when you're in the heat of the moment that they were in, they were trying to subdue James. They were trying to arrest him. He was actively resisting arrest. In the heat of the moment, they're not going to know if it's an accident or not. Even if you hit him on purpose, how many times do you think someone's going to say, "Oh, it was an accident"? You cold-cocked him. It was an accident. Come on, really? They're just supposed to believe James said it was an accident. It was in the heat of the battle. It could have been the heat of the moment. It was just a reflex. He hit him. Maybe that's what he means by accident. It was a reflex. Yeah. Now, should he be exonerated just because of that?
Probably.
Plus, when you come onto a scene as hot as they did, both of these guys did, acting the way they did, how are you going to say anything is an accident?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be really hard for him to prove that it was an accident. But then, especially if and when we see police body cameras, if there are any available, that'll really show what happened. And if it does show that he did hit him, accident or not, he's probably going to go down for it.
Well, let me ask you this, Kenny. Do you believe James would purposely hit a cop? Do you think any cop is in danger because of James?
I don't personally know James, but from the video that I saw, he was already came in hot and heavy. The cop asked him to move back. "Fuck you! You can't tell what to do." And they put up the tape. He's like, "No, I'm not fucking leaving." He expects to get arrested. Okay. Then he decides once he is getting arrested, he starts resisting.
Yeah.
Now, do I think he purposely tried to hit him to get away? No, I don't think he purposely hit him to try and get away. Maybe it was a reflexive hit or something like that, but still.
Yeah.
It's still, that's just the way it is. And it's going to be hard for him to prove otherwise.
Reactive.
Of course.
He brought that whole situation down the way it went. So, I mean, whatever happened, it is what it is now.
Yeah, he could have avoided that by going back and filming from a distance and then going to a higher up and say, "Hey, look, this is what they did." And either he would have learned, well, this is what happened during the crime scene, or it would have been like, "Okay, well, yeah, I see what they did. We'll something out about that."
Or
much better reaction.
Or he could have just stayed at home and had some Kraft mac and cheese and stayed in the whole night.
No, see, it's not worth it unless you get Velveeta cheese.
I have to agree with you, Kenny. I do. I'm sorry. I was reaching out to the masses on that one.
Yeah, see, Julie puts it great. Coming in as hot as they did, they should expect to go to jail. Well, he did expect to go to jail. He said himself he's going to be arrested. He said it multiple times before they even touched it.
Yep.
And then as soon as it happened, he was expecting it. What did he do? He resisted. How fucking stupid is that?
if you're already expecting to go to jail and you're already thinking that might happen, when it actually goes down, don't you think you would go ahead and comply since you just expected that's about to happen? Why would you even
You would
resist at
think.
that point?
Yeah.
You would think.
And de-escalation, I don't know if you're still on, but I'd like to ask you, it's like, what in your mind, as someone who does that, if you were to stumble upon a scene like that, okay, without knowing what's going on, what gives you the right to interfere?
Nothing gives me the right to interfere, whatsoever. But it also depends on what we define interfering as, also. But I mean, honestly, if they would have put the tape up, I mean, me personally, I would have stepped back just because I ain't trying to go to jail every single time I cop watch. But I would have made it clear that I'm stepping back under threat of arrest, at least. But stuff like that, and I mean, yeah, I wouldn't just stand there and yell in the cop's face or nothing like that. At least, my imagination, I wouldn't. I don't know because I wasn't actually there. But
Also, you got to think about the heat of the moment. You might have reacted a little differently.
Yeah, exactly. And then to answer Mei Chong's question, it says, would frauditors drop a lawsuit if cops said, sorry, I hit you by mistake? Yeah, frauditors would. But, me personally, if somebody came up and apologized to me after assaulting me or something, I wouldn't even charge them or anything. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even do anything to them. I mean, people lose their shit sometimes, and I'm out here with the camera. Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And do you present findings to different cities and or police departments, that you videotape and stuff?
Oh, I usually stick to this.
I'm actually unfamiliar with your content, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I usually just stick with the Omaha Police Department because I think this is the second person they shot and killed this year, just a couple weeks ago. So I know there's some things that can be fixed, especially when the police beat and tasered a man on camera and they were found not guilty and hired back onto the department. They still work there today. So that's basically my motivation for cop watching. But
now, curiously, you said you're from Omaha. Do you actually happen to know Floyd Omaha?
Yeah.
He's audited with him before.
Yeah.
We reviewed one of his audits. We reviewed one of his audits with Omaha. It was quite interesting.
I've actually thought of flying a drone to his house.
But to police de-escalation task force credit, unlike Brian, unlike Josh, he was filming right elbow to elbow with Omaha. He didn't film him from a distance. So whatever was going to happen to Omaha was going to happen to him. So I will give him that much credit. He did not let Omaha, take the brunt of what was going to happen to him. If there was going to be an arrest, he was going to be there right alongside him. So that says something about him. Unlike other auditors who just let Omaha do what he does and then film it and say, all right, I'm going home. Omaha's in jail. Oh, well.
You need somebody to bail you out,
right? Oh, yeah. I'm here to bail you out, bro. Don't worry about it. Man. Yeah, I can see Omaha fight.
It's not like a bad Workaholics episode.
Yeah. So anyway, so we saw that. I'm gonna let this one go. It's been 2 hours now. I didn't want to go too long today.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mayor Omaha or mayor elect or mayor no, it wouldn't be mayor elect, it's mayor mayoral candidate Omaha cop block, right. That's right.
Did he actually get the 1,000
He's gonna legalize weed here apparently.
I doubt it. I doubt he got this.
De-escalation. Are you voting for Omaha?
I highly doubt. I got like 5, and I think those were his neighbors.
Oh, I'll tell you this.
No, I'm not voting for Omaha.
If his constituents saw that live stream the other day, yeah, hello.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So I'm gonna let everyone. All right, so let's start over. Diary, you got anything last minute to say?
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier, reality bites, and I guess a few more are getting bitten this week.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we go, War Eagle Kid, what's up, man? War Eagle Man, did you want to say something before we go?
No, I didn't. I say I think he went there to get arrested.
Yeah. All right, Tim, what you got for us?
First of all, I'd like to just say, a full welcome back to NJ. It's really great to have him back, and I'm glad he's doing so well.
We'll
And
see what happens tomorrow.
well,
I've got 3 appointments. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 appointments. If you really want to look at it, I meet with the doctor, the urologist in the morning, first thing, and then they're going to take it out, and then I got to go for an iron study, which I'm actually getting paid for. And then because I've been this is my second year in the study, so yeah, it's for iron problems for anemia for congestive heart failure patients. But and then I got to go back in the afternoon back to the urologist to get my bladder sonogrammed.
And hopefully no catheter for Christmas, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it depends on what goes on between getting it taken out and the sonogram.
Rocky, anything last minute, sir?
Well, I wasn't done, but that's okay.
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, well, Tim, go ahead then. Well, next time, don't go off topic, man.
We were talking last thoughts. I mean,
go ahead. Well, it's not last soliloquy.
Well, yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, Tim, by the way, I appreciate your concern.
I think everybody is looking out for you, NJ. You know that. That's got to be an awesome feeling, dude, to know that you have like an entire YouTube freaking community fighting for you. And so many other people that are, subscribed to Kenny's channels or anybody else's channels. That's the one amazing thing that COVID, I think, has actually given to us is the ability to reach out to others that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to reach out to and establish relationships, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? And I mean that Kenny, honestly, that actually tied into what I was going to say before, I'm just really amazed and happy, that we are all able to speak as grown adults about things and share things with each other. And thank you, Kenny, for being such an awesome host.
You're welcome, man. I enjoy everyone that comes on panel, and I just love the conversation. I love the debate. It's all fun. All right, Rocky, what you got, sir?
I totally agree with Tim on that. That's a lot of what I was going to say. I appreciate this channel. Back to what the original topic was about how do we stop those situations. I think this channel has a lot to do with stuff like that. It's a equal platform for everyone to talk from either side or in the middle. And I really appreciate what you do and having us on. Appreciate everybody coming.
Police de-escalation task force. You got anything last minute, sir?
I just want to say thank you for the show. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say.
Hey, can you stay on? I want to talk to you after we get off.
Yeah.
Gary, you got anything last minute?
Well, just kind of repeat what everybody else was saying. Thanks for having the opportunity to kind of express our opinions and everything. And I did notice through the chat that Lavender is, I don't know if she's home or if she's what or anything, but at least she got up here and had the opportunity to say something.
Absolutely.
That's all.
So yeah, make sure we all wish Lavender, she's still suffering with COVID. So everyone keep her in your prayers. And Paul Kemp's also been feeling under the weather. He's been feeling better. So hopefully keep him and Sharon Moore as well. is suffering through COVID. So make sure you keep all of them in your prayers and we'll give them some well wishes when you do see them around. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for everyone on the panel, everyone in chat. This has been a lot of fun. I will have a new video for you guys tomorrow. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thanks, Kenny.
I can't believe you two took that
Love you,
raving
buddy.
lunatic seriously. What do you think this is?